Today's April 19th. The time is 7:16 a.m. And I'm going to read you a meditation from the Daily Reflections of the AA members for AA members. It says, this book is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. It's a recovery book, meditation. All right? Bear with me. Today's topic will be April 19th. How about that? All right. Brothers in our defects. We recovered alcoholics are not so much brothers in virtue as we are brothers in our defects and in our common striving to overcome them. As Bill sees it, page 167. The identification that one alcoholic has with another is mysterious, spiritual, almost incomparable, incomprehensible. But it is there. I feel it. Today, I feel that I can help people and that they can help me. It is a new and exciting feeling for me to care for someone, to care what they are feeling, hoping for, praying for, to know their sadness, joy, horror, sorrow, grief, to want to share those feelings so that someone can have relief. I never knew how to do this or how to try. I never even cared. The fellowship of AA and the power greater than myself are teaching me how to care about others. It says God, but I didn't use the word God. I've done all kinds of different belief systems, religious systems, whatever you want to call it, and I choose to call it what I call it. Power greater than myself, a higher power, the Creator. I'm spiritual, but not in the way I grew up spiritual. I was raised a Catholic on the Italian side, Sicilian Italian side of my mother. And I've got a lot of respect for my mother and my dad and my family, siblings. Hell, there's 9 of us. That's a lot. Problem is, I didn't get a chance to grow up with them because I didn't. And it wasn't something that I had any control over. It happened when I was younger, and and all of a sudden I'm living with this other family, and they became my my parents at that time. And we went to church all the time. We went to catechism. I got kicked out of catechism. So because I was messing around and they were talking about Jesus, and I was sitting there doodling instead of listening, and I was drawing diapers on this Jesus guy, It's pretty funny. You would have had to have been there. They didn't like it. They thought it wasn't they found it distasteful. I guess, whatever, You're in catechism, and I wasn't the only one messing around. There was other kids there that were messing around just as much. I got dog hair on my screen. Because I got a fluffy dog. We own a fluffy dog. He's a pretty good dog. Good protector. But you know, I've done a lot of different experimental things in my life. I've been different places on foot, hitchhiked. I made the decision to hitchhike from one side of California, where I'm from, to the other side. And in that, I learned a lot of different experiences in life. Learned survival, how to live on the streets, and things like that. Got screwed up, got into some drugs and drank a lot, became a lowlife, and I managed to get out of it by seeking help from my brother, my older brother, and his wife, my sister-in-law. But before that, I'm going to just say it, I used to boot up. And for some of you people that understand what booting up, understands what booting up is. A needle user, IV user. I used to also donate plasma. So, I used to snort the shit. I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to go here now. I used to snort my drugs, pills, speed, cross tops, black cats, you name it. Started getting a runny nose. And it's like, geez, man, walking around, people could tell you're screwed up. You're high, you're screwed up. You know? And the runny nose effect started, and you walk around, and, you know, and at that time I didn't really have a mustache, you know. When I was younger. And I was taught that, hey man, you know, you want to try something different? You know, this will help you get rid of the runny nose and the drips, you know, in the back of your throat and stuff like that, you know. All right, what? And he showed me, and he pulled out this needle and spoon. And it was a 10 cc's or 15 cc's. I think it was a 10 cc's needle, I believe. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while. Diabetics use 15 millimeter or not, I don't know. They use a small gauge. How's that? And so I said, all right, sure, I'll try it. And I took my first shot of crystal meth. And it was awesome. It was the coolest shit out there at that time for me. Gave me a high that I never thought that I'd never have ever my whole life. The feeling of the euphoria, the feeling of being able to go fast, stay up for hours. It was a 12-hour high. I could clean my house in fucking 10 minutes on that shit and make it spotless. So what if I spent an hour on one spot? You know what I mean? But I mean, it was. That's just the way it was. You know, speed makes you go fast and makes you do shit. You know, and I used to snort it on the way going to work on a construction site. That was our daily ritual. Boss pull up. All right, guys. Everybody in the truck. Oh, first we'd meet up at a house. We all go upstairs. I'm getting a little off track, but it's still the same concept. And we would snort a line or two. And then we jump in the truck, we go to work. We work all day. Lunchtime. Need another line? Pretty much, yeah. Getting worn out. Alright. Go snort another line. We get our last line about 3 o'clock. We didn't get off work until about 6. You know, and I'm kind of like, I'm dragging ass already. You know. But anyway, back to the story. The true story of how I did this. I was shooting up, living in town, hiding from my family because I didn't want to be a disgrace to my family and embarrass my family any. So I pretty much hid out of sight, out of mind type of thing. Make sure nobody knew where I was at because, you know, you're not in your right mind. I didn't want to be one of those that stole from my family. I didn't want to be one of those that always was needy and always wanted something from them. I didn't want to be that kind of person. So I stole from stores. I stole from dumpsters. Well, you can't steal from a dumpster unless it says private property. All right? And I didn't care about that sign. I didn't watch that sign. I ate pretty good living on the streets. I'd hit up McDonald's. McDonald's used to throw out garbage bags full of hamburgers that sat out, that waited for people to come by to buy them. And then they just throw them out after so long, and they put them in a garbage bag, still wrapped up. You know. And then sometimes if somebody added too much salt on one of the hamburgers, and they'd throw it in there or whatever, you know. Sometimes there's coffee grounds thrown in, stuff like that, you know, but they're all still wrapped up. The heavy bags are the bags that you want because that's where the meat is. The hamburgers, they're wrapped in wrap paper, taken off of the shelf, stuck in a garbage bag, taken outside, thrown in the dumpster. I'm waiting for this to happen. I did this at Taco Bell too. They threw their hamburger meat out in a plastic bag. It was still good. I sat there and watched them throw this stuff out, plus lettuce, tortillas. I ate. I didn't have nothing, you know, and I shared my food with other homeless people because I knew what it was like not having anything, not knowing where to go, not knowing where to take a shower, not knowing where to lay your head, not knowing where to be safe. You know, and you know, yeah, I'm still shooting up speed and shit, and never come across any weed. That was a rarity. That was an every once in a while kind of thing where you come across someone who's got some weed and you want to get high to mellow out, you know. And then I got into acid, blotter, yellow sunshine, green dragon, red dragon, Black Pyramid. I used to sell that shit. I used to wear a bandana. I used to stick like 2 hits of acid. Because I found out that Jimi Hendrix used to do that at one time. And he used to stick it in his bandana. So I said, okay, fine. Cops ain't going to find it. So I'd stick it in my bandana. Well, up against my head and then my bandana up around it. Tied my bandana, you know. And I'd be walking around tripping balls, you know. I mean, yeah, I may have fucked up in life, but I had fun too. You know, there's a good side of it and there's a downside of everything. And I'd go to the pier, get to the end of the pier tripping on acid, and you're sitting there or standing there and you're looking down at you're way up there, you know. A long time ago in Oceanside, California, there used to be a pier, still is, but used to be a restaurant. At one time, I guess that restaurant must have got washed out and they never replaced the restaurant. So what they did was they blocked the pier off at that end. And you could just like stand there and throw your line out there and fish out there, or stand there and just watch the boats, or or whatever go by in the waves, and people surfing and swimming and whatever. And I was high as hell on acid, speed, come out of the bar trying to drink, did a little bit of coke, couldn't get drunk at all whatsoever. And I'm sitting out there and I could have swore I seen Moby Dick go by. I was going to jump in that water right after that fucker. I was going to try to get a ride off of him. But I didn't. I had second thoughts. And then I was so drunk, I decided to go ahead and try to find a place to lay down to go to sleep, and I found a place right up underneath the pier in Oceanside. This was after I was out of the Marine Corps, I believe. No, it wasn't. I was still in the Marine Corps. I was AWOL at that time. And I fell asleep under the bridge. And about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever, I go to roll over, and all of a sudden I put my hand over like this, you know, and it landed on something. It's like, what the hell? Because I kept scooching up because high tide was coming in. My feet were getting wet all the time. It's like, damn it, you know, I ain't got to change of clothes, and I'm AWOL. It's a long way to Oceanside Camp. It's a long way to Camp Pendleton from Oceanside on foot. No money, no bus. Didn't want to go to jail. Didn't want to go to the brig. Didn't want to get caught. I didn't even want to be there. You know, but it is what it is. I was there. So anyway, I wake up, and it's a dead body. Dude was all bloated. He had a toolbox tied to his foot, to his ankle. He had his shirt over his head, so I didn't see his face. I knew that he was gangrene had set in because I poked him. You know, it's kind of nasty feeling and all, you know, fucking. I didn't poke a hole in him, but I kind of, you know, his stomach was pretty soft, and my hand would have went in there, I'm sure, and that would have been probably gross, but that didn't happen. So I freaked out a little bit and ran to a payphone and called the police station and told them, hey, there's a dead body here at the Oceanside Pier. And they sent detectives and sheriffs were there. And the fucking detective, what an idiot. Did you kill the guy? Come on, man. Rigor mortis set in. How the hell am I going to kill him and rigor mortis set in? Don't be stupid. You know? And he kind of like looked at me like, and I looked back at him and said, hey, do I look like somebody's going to kill somebody? At that time, I had a shaved head. I was in boot camp and stuff like that, you know, or maybe I was after boot camp. I don't remember. But I do remember I was AWOL. And stuff like that, you know, and I got caught. And I ended up getting discharged, 6-6 and a kick. Barbecued chicken dinner. Bothers me for the rest of my life. But, you know, and then back to the story, all right? Because I'm doing a little jumping around here, and I'm trying not to, but it's just the way it's turning out, all right? So bear with me. So I'm getting high and all and shooting up. I'm already now out of the Marine Corps. And I got back into meeting some old friends and knew where to go to get high, and because You know, that's the way it is in California when you live on the streets. You always know where to go when you need something. And I always knew where to go. And I I get there and started doing these things, you know, and got the stuff I needed, you know, and because people will give you, let you have some stuff if you turn around and sell for them. You make profit, and that's what I did. I never had to pay for my drugs ever, none of it, because I sold it. And when I sold acid by the sheets, because there are 100 hits for, what is it, 100 hits per sheet, right? Sometimes 50, sometimes 25, depending. You get a front, and then, like, you know, I was getting like 20 grams, an eighth, a quarter gram of crystal meth. I'd turn around and sell that stuff, you know, and I'd make a profit. Every once in a while, I don't know you. Guess what? Price just gone up. It's $30. That gives me $5 extra in my pocket. My dealer gets his 25 that he wanted. Anything over 25 I kept. That was the deal. So it was good in my mind at that time. I didn't have to pay for shit, you know. So drugs to me came easy. It was free because I smoked my profits. I could have probably turned it, and I did turn some into cash to go get something to eat, so I could sit in the bar and drink, get drunk, hang around with people, sell some more, go get more, pick up, go sell some more. And then, you know, I sold an 8-ball of Coke at a local bar where I lived. Hung out with a bunch of bikers. Had a good time, you know. Got in a lot of fights. Living on the street, you're always going to have that one person that thinks they're better than everybody or whatever. I've got my ass kicked a few times. Pretty funny. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with shooting up, does it? I kind of way off track. Sorry. Anyway, reminiscing. All right. Just reminding myself of where I've been, what I've done, and how to get there and whatever. So I had a backpack, and I decided that I was going to go backpacking, and well, I already had a backpack already, and I already had my clothes and everything in it and stuff like that. Everything that I wanted, you know, everything personal to me. Had a Bible, small little Bible that I had, and stuff like that. And I'd read it, but I was, you know, I was high, so I didn't really pick it up much. It just sat there. I just knew it was there. For some reason, you know, I felt that maybe having that book would either save me somehow, or you just rip the pages out and roll a fucking joint out of it, because it was rice paper anyway. And that worked too, because I did that too. I did. I'm not going to lie about that. Do I feel bad about it? No. Why? Because it's a book made by man. Wrote by man. So, to me, there's really no significance to it. But that's my opinion. Okay? It wasn't a Catholic Bible either. It happened to be one of them Christian Bibles. So, anyway, there's a bridge that I found, and I figured I'm going to go and kick it up there. So I hitchhiked up there. Can't really hitchhike up a bridge. Come on now. I walked up the one side of the bridge. I managed to get up on top there. There's a level there between the highway where the cars are, and you can hear every vehicle. And then there's a cement slab there, big enough to fit yourself on, to lay down. People used to do it. I've seen it done, so I did it. Put out my sleeping bag. I had one last shot on me. I was running low on everything. Didn't have any money, didn't have shit. Didn't eat that day. I was kind of jonesing, had the cold sweats, kind of had a fever and all. And I had this little bit of bottle of water left that I had with me that I would use to take and rinse, do my rinses, and shoot it in my mouth for that extra high, just to keep me going for a little while. So I had like 4 or 5 different needles that I used and kept them. And I would take and add water to them and shake them up, make sure you get all the blood or whatever in there, all mixed up with the water. And then you shoot the rinse into your mouth, and that's how I did that. Kept me going for a while, and all of a sudden I fell asleep and woke up, and I was sick and had the runs, had fucking the sweats, the cold chills. It's like having the flu. It's like being on death's bed, not feeling good, throwing up, looking like death warmed over on you, and I looked all skinny and shit. I looked like something you'd see on The Walking Dead, pretty much. That's how I felt, At that time, it would have been something that you'd seen on Night of the Living Dead, because that's the only zombie movie I ever remembered, And, yeah, so I finally got it to the point after 2 weeks of laying there, suffering and in pain and stuff like that, because I didn't want to go to the highway patrol office down the street because I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't have any money to pay for any bills. I wasn't working. I'm a drug addict. I'm a junkie. I'm full of drugs. Didn't have no alcohol. What little bit of water I had, I used for a rinse. It wasn't for drinking. Didn't have any food. Luckily, I had what I had as a blanket and a jacket for a pillow. And that's what worked, Matter of fact, speaking of, this is not the same backpack, but it is a backpack. It's not the same one that I used, but it is a backpack like I used. I got 2 of them. So if I ever feel I need to bug the fuck out when shit gets rough, guess what? I'm packing that motherfucker up and I'm out of here. Because that's the way it is. That's what I'm used to. You go back to what's comforted you the most. And when you're used to do these things and you understand how to do it and how it works, that's what you go back to. But, so yeah, I mean, I made it to town, in town, because I was on the highway and in another town, Lancaster, I believe it was, Lancaster, California, and I used to hang around on the streets over there and became blood brothers with a friend named Marty, which I've not seen since and don't know how he's doing. Don't even know if he's still alive. But he's my blood brother. I let him cut my wrist. And scars faded since then. But yeah, I have a blood brother out there named Marty, and used to be in Lancaster, California. So I figured out, I got a hold of some family members and tried to figure out, well, where's my brother live? And somehow I kind of knew in a way. I did and I didn't. You know, I mean, I always tried to keep track of family. I always knew where home was. I always knew how to get home to mom and dad, but I didn't want to do that. That would have not been the right decision. They worried about me enough. I know I probably fucked up enough to make them worry, and sometimes that bothers me too, to this day. You know, if only if I did this or I did that, or I didn't do this or I didn't do that. You know, I take that kind of personal, that I think I hurt my mom and dad pretty bad, and it bothers me. But, you know, I can't do nothing about the past. So I stayed with my brother. My brother took me in, my sister-in-law. My brother was a truck driver, and he was over the road. And I would watch my nephews for my brother and my sister-in-law, help around the house. You know, when I got there, I remember my sister-in-law looked at me and she said, "Damn, you look like a fucking skeleton." I don't know if she said it in them exact words, but you look bad, you know. Needed a shower, stunk, you know, because you live on the streets, there's nowhere to go. You don't know where you're going to get a next shower at. I believe I had a trench coat or a jacket or something like that. I don't remember. I needed, my clothes were thrown away because they couldn't be washed. Okay? They were not savable. I was given clothes that couldn't fit my brother anymore, that he couldn't fit in or whatever. But, you know, I'm grateful that I learned that experience and that I was able to get that little bit of help. You know, because I didn't want to depend on my family. I didn't want them to see me in the condition that I was, you know. And I've got, like I said, there's 9 of us in the family. And my one of our brothers lives all the way up near where I was raised. And that was too far to go, and I couldn't go there. And so I went back to my mom and dad and my brother and my sisters, because I've got 6 sisters, 6 beautiful sisters. And I love them all, you know. Family's everything. If you don't got family, or you're not getting along with your family, that's not the best thing in life. It makes life rough. It sucks. I've always had family values, I think. I always like to think I did. You know. But yeah, you know, that's how it was for me. You know, there was no treatment. There was treatment centers, but like I said, you know, I didn't have the money. I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to go to detox. Screw that. You know, and then later on, I went. to jail, many jails. I've been to Escondido, California. I've been to the Escondido County Jail. I've been to San Diego County Jail. I've been to LA County Jail, Men's Central, the big one, 6 tiers. You know, I spent some time there. My family didn't hear from me a lot. There was a couple of times I called my mom and dad from jail, asked if they'd be able to help bail me out, and they said no. You got yourself into it, get yourself out of it. And from then on, I never called them back. Not because I was mad, but because I think I made a mistake by calling them and asking if they'd bail me out or if they can help me when I was locked up. It was something I did that I got caught for stealing, and they said, don't call asking for money. You want to call us, that's fine and dandy, but don't be calling us asking us to bail you out, because you got yourself into it, you get yourself out of it. And so a lot of times I end up in jail, I wouldn't contact anybody. I didn't have any numbers on me anyway. People stole shit from my backpack. I used to have a little phone book I used to carry. I have one now still. I don't carry it anymore. I got a cell phone now. But I wouldn't contact my family because I didn't want to be one of those that depended on my family because I fucked up. I didn't want to be a disgrace to my family. I probably will be now once I post this video. But you know what? It is what it is. You know? I love them, they love me, and, you know, we get along, and we all live apart, you know, we all live at distances. The furthest away is California. I live in Michigan. I got 2 sisters in this direction. I get to see them once in a while, but not as often as I'd like. It's kind of sad, because I'm always broke or always fucking in a hole. Pisses me off after a while, but what do you do? There ain't nothing you can do. You know? It is what it is. You got to do what you can, make the best of life. No matter what. One day at a time. And so I didn't start going to recovery until I moved to Michigan. And at that time I was already done with the needle. Well, I take that back. I've shot up once since I lived here. And I've done coke maybe once since I've lived here. But that was years ago. Long before my 8 years of recovery that I have now. Then it was all about just smoking weed and drinking. Because they're slow up here. It's a slow-paced life up here, is what I'm saying. It's not fast-paced like California is. You know, California is life in the fast lane. Everybody's in a hurry to get nowhere. And starting to get that way out here, up here. Everybody's in a hurry to get nowhere. I say that with meaning and purpose because there's a lot of accidents up here because of stupidity and because of people not paying attention because they're on their phones, talking on their phones and driving instead of paying attention to the road. You know, a lot of deaths up here because of stupidity. Drunk driving, speeding on a snowmobile in the wintertime, running into a tree, killing yourself, cracking your skull open so there's brain matter all over the fucking tree. That ain't the way to treat Mother Nature. Fucking idiots. Anyway, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do in life so long as I'm not the one doing it anymore. And I haven't done anything. I mean, I'm on prescription medications sometimes. And I don't really take care of my diabetes because I'm trying to do it my way, you know. And that's where we fuck up in life, you know, is when we think we know what's best for us. And we don't, you know. I got friggin' pills up the wazoo just as a diabetic, but I'm losing weight on purpose because my mind tells me that if I lose weight, because I would talk to a doctor and he said, "Oh well, you're fat, you're overweight, I was 276 pounds and at one time, and now I'm down to 168, and I'm still not at my goal yet. I'm working on it." I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, I could be a diabetic for the rest of my goddamn life, for all I know. But if I could get down to 160 pounds, then I'm hoping that, because the way they told me was I'm a diabetic because I don't get enough exercise, I don't go out, I don't go do shit. Because I sat around for a while, and then I was 165, and then I was 265 pounds, and then 245 pounds, and then 200 pounds, and I'm still overweight, you know. And for my height and my weight, 5'6", 5'7", 5'7", bucket. That's what I told the cops. That's what's on my driver's license. I don't give a shit. Body mass index, the BMI, tells you a certain number, and then it tells you if you're overweight or obese or whatever. You know, so I'm sure if I got online and checked out my body mass index, it'll probably still tell me that I'm overweight. It's kind of stupid in a way if you think about it, but you know, my stomach has shrunk, my eating habits has shrunk. I'm not sitting there eating 15 plates at one sitting anymore. Every once in a while, if I go to Big Boys, my wife and I go to breakfast or something like that, I'll chow down on their sausage and bacon and scrambled eggs. They have a breakfast buffet for $9.99. But, you know, that hasn't happened in a while either. But it is what it is, you know. Shit's changing. Shit's getting rough. And right now we're surviving. That's what I call it, survival mode. Because it is what it is. You know? I mean, yeah, I've got a lot of shit. I mean, a lot. Would it bother me to walk away from it all? Probably not. Because I've done it before. I'll gain shit back again in life. Another way. Maybe not the same stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. Nothing happens forever. Except for death. That's the only thing that's a forever kind of thing. But, you know, it's the way I got clean and sober and up here in Michigan from weed and drinking, because I addressed my addictions with using the IV needles, but I don't have the want for it anymore. you know, because I know what it does to you. And it's like, it's something that can kill you. It almost killed me. If I wouldn't have gone to the doctor and took the Rebitol and the pagan interferon shots because of hepatitis C, I could be dead by now, and I'm not. It's not being detected in my blood anymore. It's in remission. As long as I'm not drinking and I'm not using, I'm fine. And as long as I have decent eating habits, which here and there, whatever, you know, it is what it is. But I just wanted to make this video and put it out there, and I don't know if YouTube's going to accept this length of video, because I've already been on it 46 minutes, let's see, 46, 14, and 15 and counting, then 7, 19, 15, I don't know. There's a bunch of numbers up here I'm trying to read, and I don't even know what the fuck they all mean. Don't really give a shit. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. You all have a good one. You take care. Later.